And welcome back. Just a quick update as to what I've been doing. Today I've made two different types of pick. Similar tips, but two different. First of all, I've made this, which is my favourite shape, purely and simply because I've got quite small hands. And as I hold the pick like this, I turn it over, you can see it just rests round about here. I pre-cut and polished the handles, and if we look, hopefully I've judged it right. Yeah, I have. They fit snugly. Can you see that there? Snugly onto that there. Now, for those that don't know, this is a full Tang pick, okay, which means it goes the full length of the handle. I also made a partial Tang, similar shaped tip. Is that better? Yeah. Similar shaped tip, but partial in size. Now this will form from a whole block of, say, this sort of material, a whole pick. So let's imagine I've cut this right down the middle here, okay, and I've shaped it like this. Right, it's not the right shape, but because it's cut differently, but you would actually get the same length pick doing the same thing. So that's the main difference between a partial pick and a full Tang. So full Tang, partial Tang, but the length of the pick, this is a really short hook, this is more of a deep forest diamond. So what I've got to choose now is something to actually do this in. Now, I've got this wood here. Now, it's palm based, and I've been informed by someone very knowledgeable that the white and the black, they look very, very nice. Don't know if you can see the differences, but they're different composites. These are harder than this, and there's a tendency for it to split and to do various things. Now, I've cut this in two ways, and this one, as you can see, is a very, very long cut, which I kind of got a bit carried away with, to be honest with you, and it goes slightly off at the end, so I will probably end up having to make, as you can see, this bit will get totally lost in there. So what I'm going to do, and how I did that, let me show you how I did that. Oh. I took my vise. I've got such a terrible angle on this. I took my vise and I put in said piece of wood, and I won't make that too tight because I'm not actually going to do it. And I took, you can get smaller ones of these, but I like to feel like I'm a samurai. There we go, that's better, isn't it? Yeah, I took this and I started off with Let's move that, hang on, because I'm getting annoyed about that now. There we go. That's better. I took this, and this has small teeth, large teeth, but it has this nice non-teeth part, whatever you want to call it, flat surface here. So what you can do is line it up, mark it, and then obviously cutting. This is a pull saw, so going this way, no cut. It's only when you pull it towards yourself that you get the cut. That's how I did this, but I used this the first time I got it, and hence I got carried away. So I am going to have to adapt that. So what I'm looking at is finding myself a small piece of wood. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take similar shape to this, cut it down, and I'm going to make a cut down here. Now the cut length that I want, I'm going to take that right up to the end there, and the cut length that I want is to approximately here. Now I've made a slight score on that. What I will use later on is a set square to score that up so this fits. Now I've got quite a bit of movement with the hole, because I've already done the hole into the metal. Drilling the hole, I can drill the hole straight through the wood using a normal drill, 6mm. Put that straight through, and I can then place in and cut in a similar way that I'd cut smaller ones. I can cut the pin to fit, and I will do that in exactly the same way that I do that, but I've got various pieces of wood that I can do that with, and you can use anything you want really. Just because I've used an example of wood there doesn't mean you've got to. Other things I've mentioned in the past, I can put this guide that I got in the vise like this, use it with a clamp, clamp. So the way that it would work, he says, the way that it would work is clamp I would clamp the wood in place where I wanted it onto the cut. This would then be placed into the vise either this way round, because I have this gap here, either this way round, which I tend to do. Let's show you once it's in place. Right, now this is beneficial if you don't have a pull saw, but you have something like this, using a standard saw or something similar. And again, what you would do is, these have teeth all the way to the edge. Okay, so that's why it's better with the guide that you've got. Make sure it's where you want it, in there, And again, this is a normal saw. So as you can see in there, cut, and this will give you your guide. Because this is corian, you can use other products such as slate, such as marble, such as anything that's strong that isn't going to give like wood will, to allow you to cut that straight. Now everybody has difficulty in cutting stuff straight, apart from a few of the experts out there, but this is a beginner's guide. One way, if you're using your standard saw, whether it be a tenon saw or a normal saw, or if you have a pull saw. I tend not to use this with a pull saw, but it's very, very handy to have. If you know someone that makes corian or uses corian a lot, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, well, I'll leave that to your imagination. So that's what I'm going to do. I will bring you more up to date. If you like later on, what I will do, because I'm quite pleased with these, to be honest with you, is I'll show you how I attach those. But these are key. Get yourself some of these. Quick release. Yeah. Up, down. They do help immensely for clamping, whether it be clamping like I did in an actual vise, or once the product has been applied with the resin, for gluing things onto. Now I'm gonna go, because I've got to choose the material now for, remember, partial tang, full tang. I've also got to decide whether I put the pins that are cut here. I cut these earlier. I'm not very good at pins at all. I never get them to line up properly. You look at these, they're perfect. You look at, that's Harry's. You look at this one here from Matt, again, they're perfect. You look at some from myself and they're not. Hence, if I'm putting one in like this, it's a lot easier because they're not having to be lined up. So what I may actually do is something similar to that, just put one in. I've even tried scoring straight down the middle, putting them in, but they still come out a bit wonky, because when you're putting pressure onto a piece of steel, it's very tough to do. That was a good sound. Yeah, like that. Right. So that's me done for today. And what I'm going to do is come back to you once I've chosen a piece of wood to use. I've got various pieces of wood. I do actually like this a hell of a lot. So I may try and shape something with this to do a partial tang. Might be a bit of a waste with something quite so big, but I've got to come up with some ideas, and I'll come back to you on that, to be honest. I've got so many other pieces of wood here that I've been lucky enough to be given from people from various places. There you go, that's me for today. That's quite a long video, longer than I wanted to do, but hopefully that's shown you a couple of bits about how I prepare things. I like to cut these as close and polish these as best I can. This needs some work. This will be polished up to about 1,200, maybe 3,000 grit. And this has just been wet and dried at the moment. But I cut them both this morning, so hopefully that helps some people. I've tried actually doing a little bit with the grinding, but it's bloody noisy and it's not really good for you or me. I've got some other little partial tangs here again, but they are quite a bit longer than what I need. I could adapt them actually. But we'll see. They're already cut. That's courtesy of Hillbilly. Alright, love you lots. Speak to you soon. Bye.